What's going on, boys? It's Corey from Lion Dads, and today we're going to go over whether or not a carnivore diet is actually sustainable. But before we get started, I want you guys to go down and go to lion-dads.com, and I want you to get my free PDF on getting started with a carnivore diet. It's got everything you need in there to get going. It's got a shopping list. It's basically a get started guide. It should get you going, get you started, and get you losing weight right now. So go to lion-dads.com, link down in the description. Go ahead and get that free PDF. So like I said, going into it, we're going to talk about the sustainability of a carnivore diet, of an animal-based low-carb diet, and basically kind of debunk the myth that it's not a sustainable diet, that you need to have carbs and you need to be able to eat sweets and all that kind of stuff for energy, for health, and basically for happiness, right? Because I think that's the biggest thing. But before we get going, I want to show off this cup that I got. It's not mine. It's not a merch for me. It's I think Jack Links makes it. I bought it. I picked it up at Bass Pro. It's actually my son's cup, but I thought it was hilarious. So wanted to show you guys that. Full of RO water there. So let's get going into it. We'll talk about the sustainability of a carnivore diet, and just to get let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. When everybody says that it's not a sustainable way of eating, it's not a sustainable diet, it's basically a palatability thing, right? That's what they're talking about. Oh, you can't do this forever. You can't sustain a carnivore diet. It's not realistic because you're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to enjoy the foods. You're not going to be eating and setting off your taste buds and the little receptors in your brain and things like that bring you pleasure and joy from eating. And like I've been saying on here for the duration of the whole time that I've had this channel, is that we've become a society where we look at food as entertainment. And that's basically where I think, people will argue with me, I think where most of this it's not sustainable crap is coming from, is that people want to use food as entertainment. It's become such a social aspect of our lives. It's become a thing that we just, it's a part of our daily rituals and routines, and share a whatever meal with somebody and do things and all that, and comment always on how good it tastes and blah 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 blah. And I grew up eating shit like sweet foods and high carb, sugary, full of seed oil, crap that's bad for you, really, you know what I mean? And I'm the first guy to tell you, I used to be a, quote unquote foodie. I used to be a, sweet tooth, whatever you wanted to call it, man. I grew up eating donuts and ice cream and the fucking breakfast cereal, the things like that. So that's basically what I want to confront here, is when people talk about a carnivore diet is not sustainable, that's basically what they mean. They aren't sitting here pissed off and jacked up because, we took Brussels sprouts and, cauliflower and broccoli and shit like that away from them, right? They're mad when people can't eat a carnivore diet. It's because they can't get the dopamine hit from eating a jelly donut. They can't get the dopamine hit from sitting and eating some, Frosted Flakes. It's things like that. It's the sugary stuff. It's the starchy foods. They're not upset about taking away the crap that's bad for you. You know what I mean? That's good for you. They're quote unquote supposedly good for you, the high fibrous vegetables and stuff. Some people enjoy that stuff, but it's really the people coping with taking away the sugary crap. And so what's my thoughts on this? Okay, personally, for me, I've always found meat not satiating, but palatable. I've always found meat to be like the highlight of my meal. That was the way I was raised. That's the way I think a lot of people were raised. Nowadays, when you go to restaurants and stuff and you get your meal, you'll see that your main course, your meat dish, your steak, your chicken, or whatever it is. Now the carb sides, the serving, the the serving of mashed potatoes, you get, a little, 4-ounce piece of chicken or whatever, and then you get this mountain of fucking mashed potatoes, and and then you get or fries or whatever. You get unlimited fries. If you've been to like Red Robin, that's like unlimited, endless, bottomless fries and shit. You can go there and gorge on fries, and you get a little bitty piece of meat or whatever. But to me, that's always been the highlight of my meal. It's always the thing that I've been excited about. The meat was always the main course, and now the meat is the highlight of my meal because it is the meal. And I've been, like I've said many times on here, I've been doing this for 4 years now. It's been a long road. Did I miss the taste of sugary stuff, starchy stuff, seed oil filled, horse shit, fake frankenfoods at first? Yeah, sure I did. I'm the first to admit that. But it's a fleeting thing. It's very that time passed, and it passed quickly for me. And here I am 4 years later, and I'm actually, when I see these other foods that I used to eat that I know contributed to my bad health, that I know contributed to me being fat, the things that I made a lifestyle choice to eat all the time, and they have made losing all that fat be a long, slow, a process, because this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. You spend a lifetime putting fat on, it ain't coming off in a week, right? But those things, I see those foods and I see people eating them. I'm not here judging people. I know not everybody has come to this moment in their life. They haven't found a way of eating that serves them, in a way that contributes to their health and stuff. But I see, and I'm not judging the person, but I'm looking at the meal. And nowadays, man, all I think when I see these other foods that I used to enjoy and I used to love, I just feel disdain. I feel almost disgust for the, not for the person eating it, but for the food. You know what I mean? I know what's in that. I know what it's done to me. I know what it's doing to other people. I know what it's done to members of my family. And I've rewired my brain, and so many of us on a carnivore diet have rewired our brain to where we look at those foods and we know what they are. We know what they taste like. You know what I mean? It's like eating the forbidden apple or something like that. You know what I mean? But it's, it looks delicious, it looks yummy, but it's killing you on the inside. You know what I mean? It's the ultimate sin or whatever, right? So, but that's my thing, is that's how I find this diet to be sustainable from a palatability standpoint. I love eating steak. You want to talk about a dopamine hit when I eat steak, man. I dream, I like when I know I got a fat ribeye coming to me at night, I'm thinking about it all day. You know what I mean? I wake up, the first thing I'm thinking is, damn, get me some bacon and eggs. I eat bacon and eggs pretty much every day. I eat eggs. I try to go out of my way to eat eggs every day. I think eggs, I've said on here a billion times, are a superfood. I fry them up in bacon grease. You can cook them 100 different ways. Ground beef's another one. I think about it. I love it. I throw a little bit of whole, hard cheese on there. And that's, to me, that is so much more palatable than anything I can even fathom. I couldn't imagine eating candy at this point. You know what I mean? I don't think about it. I don't think about the sides. I don't think about eating. I sure as shit don't think about eating vegetables. But I'm not thinking about, potatoes, and I'm not thinking about things like that. I'm sure as hell not thinking about desserts and things like that. I don't need that stuff in my life anymore to make me happy. What makes me happy is the health benefits that I'll get into next. So the next thing I do want to get into is, the improved well-being that does come from a carnivore diet that I've found in the last 4 years. To me, that long-term success with my health, with my strength, with my fitness and things like that. And like I said, it's a hard road. It's a long, hard road. A lot of people come to these things thinking that it's the overnight answer, and for some people it is. You know what I mean? For some people lose weight like crazy, and some people, it can be a longer road for some of us. I'm by no means a finished product. I was in a bad, heavy, obese place when I started this, and I am not done. I'm not perfect. I don't look and I'm not happy completely with what I see, but I know I'm on my way, and I know it's going to keep improving, and I know I'm going to keep getting better, and I know it's working. You know what I mean? And I know that day is coming to where I'll be like, damn, this, I mean, I can look at myself in the mirror now, as I've sat here and lost like 60, 70, 80, 80 pounds and stuff, that it's worked. But I've said on here before, I'll never be a finished product. You know what I mean? I'm never going to be satisfied. I'm always going to think about how I can improve and things like that. But I'm night and day from where I came from. And that's the big thing keeping me going. You know what I mean? When I came to this as, damn near 300 pounds, for reference, being about 6'2" and a half, and coming down to, at one point I got all the way down to 200, and about a little over 210, have kind of built my way back up. Tried different experiments with bulks and things like that, but it's become so much easier. My body's so much flexible, and it's able to work with me a little bit in what I want to accomplish. You know what I mean? From a muscle building standpoint, I'm sitting here trying to run these experiments on myself and report the results back to you guys, and I'm able to successfully cut down. I'm able to successfully bulk back up, and now I'm cutting back down again from my last bulk that I did last year. But I just know that, the well-being, my long-term sustained success is what's keeping me going, and it's keeping me from having to miss these, trash-ass foods that I used to eat. I don't need that stuff anymore. I know how I feel now. I know what's going on inside me. I know because I can feel it and I can see it. I know, that my long-term success is far more important than any short-term joy that I get from a triggering response in my brain that, oh, that's yummy, keep eating that sugar, seed oil, starch, whatever the hell it is. And the other thing is energy, man. You know what I mean? I remember eating carbs a long time ago, thinking that I would have to eat some like sugary crap or some white bread, like whatever it is, to give me a little insulin spike, get in the gym, get through whatever thing I had going on, and then I'd eventually end up crashing off of it. Adding a lot of animal fat into this diet, eating the way I eat, eating this carnivore diet, a high fatty version of it, the energy is sustained all day. I don't have any more crash. I don't have any trouble getting out of bed anymore. I don't have trouble getting to sleep. I did a whole video on sleep and why this has helped me with my sleep and things like that. And, that's all bonuses that keep me from wanting to go back. I think of the way, even with alcohol, I think of the hangovers and the shit. I don't wake up on the weekend feeling like shit anymore. I feel great all the time. I always feel good. If you'd have seen me 4 years ago, I'd have paid $1 million to feel the way I do now. I didn't have it. I didn't have $1 million to pay, but if you'd have told me you definitely will feel this way and tell me how I feel now, I'd have fucking found it. I'm telling you right now. So that's another reason why I think it's sustainable. Satiety, that's another big one with the carnivore diet. Dude, I'm never hungry. I wake up, if I'm hungry, I eat, and I eat a lot. I eat till I'm full, and then way down the line, when I get hungry again, I eat again. That's the way I eat. I don't feel a need to snack. I don't feel like I need to go out and be finding food all the time. I don't eat because I'm bored. I don't have any desire to. And like people are like, one thing that is not sustainable about it, right, is it's probably too expensive. Meat's so expensive and all that stuff. Look, man, when you think about all the times you snack throughout the day, think of the meals you're eating, and then you eat this high carb meal or whatever it is, and then within 2 hours you're hungry, or within an hour or two, whatever it is, you're hungry again, you snack again, and then you're snacking again, and you're snacking again. That shit adds up. You know what I mean? I eat a big meal. I eat, my several eggs and a piece of meat for like bacon, whatever it is, for breakfast. I eat some ground beef for lunch. I eat a steak or some fish or something for dinner. Does that cost money? Hell yeah, it costs money, and there's tons of ways you can eat cheap on a carnivore diet. I think I've done a video on it before. If not, I'll do one for sure. But there's certainly, you can get creative. You can find deals. You can buy from a rancher, buy in bulk, things like that. But when you actually look and see, man, I'm not snacking anymore. I'm not buying all this, this bullshit in the store and hitting the little, shit corner market or whatever and having to get snacks all the damn time. That stuff adds up, and you might be shocked if you actually sat and did your budget, which is something a lot of people don't do anymore, and you went over you actually crunched some numbers, you might find you're actually saving money eating this way. I can think of all the times I bought a shitload of vegetables, kept them in my fridge till they went bad, and threw them in the trash without ever touching them. How many of you have done that? Raise your hand. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. I know I'm not the only one out there that's done that. Had to throw vegetables away when they go bad. So that's another one. And then overall, I want you to look at the big picture, right? Think about it now. Like, I'm eating this way now, and I'm spending this money now. This is going back to my last video, suffer now or suffer later, but I'm not going to be spending money on ridiculous medical bills. My kids aren't going to have to be finding nursing homes and shit for me someday. I'm going to be fit. I'm going to be active. I'm not telling you that's what I want. That's what I'm going to be. You know what I mean? I'm going to be active well into my old age. I'm going to be fit. I'm going to be healthy into my old age. I'm going to eat this way for the rest of my life. And that is going to save me time, money, everything else, heartache, everything. It's worth it to me. It's worth it to me to do this now. Instead of suffering in my future and having to spend money on medical care and in-home nurses and medical equipment and going into a home. So I've seen that with my grandparents, with other relatives and stuff like that. It's not the future I want. You know what I mean? So take care of yourself now so that they don't have to take care of you later, right? That's the big thing with me. That's the long term. Look at the big picture, look down the road, and see what do you want? Do you want to eat the good, yummy, sugary bullshit Frankenfoods now and be in a home, laid up in a nursing home or something like that when you're, in your 70s even? That's not even old anymore, guys. You know what I mean? Do you want to be popping pills all the way up to the day you die? And be glad that it didn't take that long because you're tired of popping pills and being in pain and shit. Think about that stuff. You know what I mean? I want to live to be 100 or more, and I want it to be a good 100 or more. I want it to be a fit, healthy, active, over 100 years old. That's my goal. That's my long-term goal, and I'm willing to do this now for my future, So that's the big one. Now, so one thing I do want to address to you guys, and I think one thing when a lot of you get started that you go through, where a lot of this comes from, and it does scare a lot of people off, even if they're barely coming to this diet, is there can be kind of a withdrawal phase, right? At the beginning, if you're used to eating these carbs and you're used to eating sugars and you're used to eating all these bullshit foods, a lot of people do find that there's a withdrawal phase. That they go through. A lot of people call it the keto flu and stuff, that you get sick and things like that. I've done a ton of reading on it, and having gone through something kind of like that myself, gone through a little bit of the headaches and stuff. I didn't get a full blown flu when I converted over, but I definitely was getting some headaches and maybe some irritability, things like that. And then obviously there's the gut fly on there's the gut elephant in the room that you kind of blow your O-ring out a little bit with the TMI or whatever, but we all go through it transitioning over to this diet. So you go through kind of that kind of stuff. You got to cleanse the gut out. You end up on the toilet a lot. You go through the headaches, you might go through a little bit of sickness and irritability and things like that, and that's normal. That's a part of it, because there have been studies out there, and I'm not going to sit here and link them. If you want to find them, go out and look for them. They're everywhere. But there's studies out there that say that sugar is as addictive as some class 1 narcotics out there, and you will withdraw from them similar to how you would withdraw from a drug that you're addicted to. And that alone in itself was alarming enough to me that I was like, dude, I don't even want to put this shit in my body anymore. It's, if it's going to have this kind of effect on me. It was a similar thing with caffeine, man. I used to be a caffeine fiend, and going through withdrawals from caffeine, I was like, why am I putting something in me that my body is going to end up dependent on like this? It's ridiculous. But we all kind of go through it. and you have to kind of fight through that phase a little bit. I always tell people, stay hydrated. When you start feeling like you're craving something, if that's the time to snack, you know what I mean? A lot of us don't snack on a carnivore diet, but go get yourself something good. Like, have something ready and made where you can go grab it, a piece of meat, a steak, some bacon, some egg, whatever, some cheese even, I don't care. But go have something that is not sugary, and kind of just satiate the hunger portion of that withdrawal, the hunger portion of that, what you're feeling. You want to do that, and it'll kind of, it'll settle everything down once you get some food in you. That's probably the best strategy that you can use when you start going through that. And that is a very, very, very short-term part of that. You know what I mean? It's a very short-term part of when you're transitioning over this diet, is flushing those carbs, flushing all the, processed crap out of your gut, resetting the biome, dealing with the toilet time for a little bit. It all passes. It's all fleeting, and you'll be feeling right really quick. So, just kind of recap on where I've kind of come from with this. Like I said, I came to this, in a bad spot, bad health-wise. I've gone over my story on here a ton of times, had a pretty bad health scare. The doctor at I ended up in the ER. The doctor told me, you need to get your fat ass in shape, basically, was what it was about. And that brought me here to the carnivore diet, which was something I was kind of pondering going through anyway. And I just decided, enough's enough. I'm going all in. And went through all that stuff, went through everything I told you about, went through God, is this sustainable? I went through phases of missing things and, missing alcohol and missing sugar and missing sweets and missing this, that, and the other. It all passes, guys. If you stick through it, if you can stick to your guns, if you can overcome it, if you can be strong, I assure you, you will make it through to the other side, just like I did. And as long as you're realistic about your results, right? You should shoot for the moon, but, understand that it might, it might take you some time to get there, and that's okay. You know what I mean? You don't measure your success against other people's. We're not all the same. Some of us get faster results than others. Some people, it takes a really long time, and that's fine. You're taking the steps to get there, and eventually you are going to get there. So that's basically what I want to leave you guys with today. Go down in the comments. Let me know, how long some of you guys have been on a carnivore diet and how it's going for you and things like that. And then I just want to remind you guys, head to lion-dads.com. I got a link down in the description. And definitely check out my free PDF on getting going, losing your dad bod with a carnivore diet. Get that shopping list, get in the store, buy all the foods that I have on there that'll get you going on a carnivore diet. And just get started, guys. That's all I'm asking you to do. Just get started. If you need any help, I'm always here for coaching. I got all the links and stuff down there. So get on top of that stuff, and I will catch you guys in the next one later.